Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. Today's episode features the Home Starter Program, and this organization was recommended to me by the gentleman who came on Sleep in Heavenly Peace, David, and he has collaborated with this organization and thought that they'd be great to have on, so I'm pleased that we were able to make that happen. And they bring furniture to people who otherwise might not have furniture, but we'll get into more detail. But my guests today are Terri, Behm, coordinator, and Sheryl Gottwald, who is the volunteer coordinator. And yeah, let's just get into the episode with Terri and Sheryl, and you can learn more. Today I'm here with Terri Behm, coordinator for the Home Starter Program, and Sheryl Gottwald, volunteer coordinator. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks for inviting us.
You're welcome. And to start off, could you tell me what is the Home Starter Program and what is the mission?
We help mostly newly housed individuals and families. We receive referrals through other organizations. So we don't go out looking for them. We don't help them find housing. But once they have had a period of being unhoused and they have housing, we help them get the basics. So we bring them, I like to say, something to sit on, sleep on, and eat at.
Okay. Okay.
So living room furniture, kitchen table and chairs, bedroom furniture, and then we also do basics in their kitchen and their bathroom.
Okay.
So think about the first time you would have somebody like a college kid getting their first apartment. All those types of items are what we help with.
Oh, good to know. Who is eligible to apply? Are there qualifications they have to meet, or how does that work?
So we normally ask that they come through another organization. And so some of our top organizations, I actually looked before I came, so I'd be prepared. For example, Bridges. So we'll have, say, a woman who's left a domestic violence situation, and pretty much a lot of times they'll leave with the clothes on their back and their kids, and so they've been in a shelter, they've been whatever, and then they find appropriate housing, and so we'll help them get going. Or City of Nashua, we get quite a few referrals, Greater Nashua Mental Health. And so normally they've been working with other programs for lots of different reasons. And then those programs will be working with them and helping them find housing. And then when they find the housing, they reach out to us to help get those basics once they have housing acquired.
Okay, that makes sense. What sorts of volunteer opportunities are available, and how can people volunteer if they wish to do so?
So the first major volunteer activity would be to help move the furniture. So we have a whole list of volunteers who are available at least once a month, usually on a Saturday morning, to pick up furniture from people who donate furniture to us, and then also deliver furniture to those people who need it.
Okay.
We're always looking for additional volunteers. So if somebody would like to have some kind of a volunteer activity and maybe just do it once a month, this might be a wonderful chance for them. It's the most amazing experience, actually, because families are so appreciative and so grateful. All of the volunteers tell me later, that person was just so happy. And sometimes this are used furniture. These are items that, we get from other people, not always, like a new piece of furniture, but yet people are just so grateful, and the volunteers get to see that.
Sure. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's one area I didn't think about, but as far as the furniture that you give to people, so a lot of that is donated to you?
All of it is.
All of it's donated. Okay. Oh, all right. Nice.
So really, we are just a pass-through sort of, right? And so we realized we started right during COVID when everybody was stuck at home and cleaning out their houses, right? Because they
Sure,
were
right? Had nothing else to do, yeah.
And so at that point, we realized that we are in a community that has things, and we are flanked by communities that need things.
Yeah.
And so really, we are very lucky that we have it come in and go out at a pretty equal rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, everything that we have is donated, and then we simply help it find a new life and a new home
Okay.
with people who need it.
Okay.
We rent storage units to store the furniture in.
Okay.
Terry got that all organized.
Oh,
right,
nice.
I think.
Yeah. Well, we when we started, it was not great. Our first storage unit was on a second floor with no elevator.
Oh no!
So we had to literally move everything twice and go upstairs and downstairs twice, and that was short-lived, thankfully, until we went to Nashua, near where most of our clients are, and we have where we can drive in now, and it's climate controlled because we have things like beds and
the mattresses.
mattresses and couches and things that you have to have.
Sure.
So it is much better.
Oh, good.
And we've grown from 1 unit to 2, and now we have 4
That's right.
of different sizes. And then we also have a My Box for house goods, and a lot of us are garages and other things.
Sure. Yeah. So just for people's understanding, so this came out of a local church, correct?
Yes. The Congregational Church of Amherst. We're
Okay.
United Church of Christ.
Okay.
But I would say at this point, and from pretty early on, we're evenly divided. Our volunteers are half church members and half just community members.
Okay. So if people, say, wanted to make a donation, whether that be of furniture or monetary, does that go to the church? Do you have your own separate place to donate, or?
We have our own account. So like we're covered under their insurance, and we are the umbrella of the church is over us, but we are our own program.
Okay.
And so if they gave, there's information on our website.
Okay.
And they would just earmark it, and it would go into our account. So we do get money to help with storage cost and
Sure.
with a few things that we don't get donated. Some perishable things like for kitchens.
Oh,
Toasters.
sure.
We don't do used toasters because you can never quite get all the crumbs out.
Right? Exactly. That would be tough.
Those we buy
Yeah,
we get
yeah.
donated, but new ones donated. And so, yeah, that
Okay.
is how they would do it.
Okay. And then how did each of you initially get involved with the organization, and can you give a little bit of a description about what your roles entail?
So I've only been a part of the program a little over a year now. I've been a part of the program. I'm not sure how I actually got started.
Okay.
Somebody called
That's
me.
all right.
Said maybe, would you like to come to this meeting
Sure.
and see what it's all about? So I did. My job is to make sure, keep the list of volunteers, and then every month I send out a note to the volunteers with all the dates for the upcoming month, and ask them to please tell me 1 or 2 of those dates that would work for them. And so then when they email me or text me back again, I fill in the schedule. So before the month begins, the whole month for volunteers is set up.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And then I also
And how many do we try to put together, ma'am?
we do at least once every Saturday
Well, no,
morning.
I'm saying, but 3. So
Oh, 3,
if anybody
yeah.
thinks that we would say, hey, we'd send you out and, put a couch on your back and heave it, it's
Right.
no.
Oh, sure.
They really like it much better when there are at least 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
2 is hard.
So, yeah,
we've been
3 to 4.
desperate sometimes when we just do 2 and they're like, it was difficult.
Yeah.
So 2, 3. And then we almost always, at least once a month, we have something that has to be done during the week.
Okay.
And so we just ask for volunteers. Some other people, some of the volunteers have said, we can do it more than once a month. If a need comes up, then please, call me.
Sure.
So it's been really great that way.
Oh, good.
Then each week, Terri will let me know which clients might be ready for their furniture, because it depends. They have to be able to get into the apartment. We have to know that they've moved in,
Right.
that kind of thing. And so then I'll call the clients and make sure that they're ready for the following Saturday to have their furniture delivered. Check the list, against the list that we have online, and set up the time with them. And then I write a note for the volunteers.
Okay.
So here are the 3 or 4 things that you're going to do this coming Saturday: names, addresses, phone numbers, any information about. Is it a second story with no elevator? It's good for them to know that ahead of time.
Oh, sure.
Or where can you park?
Yes, right.
Always
the parking,
especially this time of year, there's so many parking bans.
Yeah,
So.
and these are all apartments, on main streets in Nashua, maybe, or whatever. So
Yeah.
A lot of converted houses that have been turned into multifamily or apartments.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've seen it all.
Everything. Yeah. And so that's all I do.
Okay.
That's my job.
Okay, that is
I
not
was
all.
going to say,
it is such
sounds
an
like a lot.
huge, important part of what you do.
It's good for me, though. It's a good way for me because I'm sort of tied to my home for a little bit.
Okay.
So this is a nice way for me to be able to be involved.
Oh,
and,
good, good. And what about you?
So I am chair of the World Service Committee that this came from.
Okay.
We had been looking for ways to be more hands-on. We knew that our congregation said we really appreciate opportunities to get out there and do good things.
Sure.
And so we were going to do a build day with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, who you have spoken with and who gave you our names.
Yeah.
And we were waiting, and then COVID hit, and we couldn't do our build. So they were still, in a limited way, performing their mission of bringing beds to kids without beds. And they went someplace, and there was a toddler who was too young for a twin bed. And so they said, "Hey, Terri, can you help us find a toddler bed?" And we said, "Of course." And they said, "And by the way, we got there, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment. They're sleeping on blankets on the floor. They have nothing. Can you help us find more things?" And we said, "Of course." And so we perhaps overfilled that first one, but we did find, we kind of scouted out, posted on Facebook, talked to a congregation, and helped that first family. And then we just sort of, from there, we realized this was a need, and we slowly, organically grew from there.
Okay.
So we got another referral for a family. We started in Manchester mostly, believe it or not.
Wow,
and it kind of morphed to Nashua later, but we started there. So I coordinate. I get all of the online, everything normally comes to us from online forms. They're really simple, take a minute or two to fill out, where it'll either be a donation offer or a request for services. And then we have one more person who's not here, Donna Watson. She'll do the initial reach out to them and confirm their list of what they need and when they're going to be able to receive it. And so she confirms that. And then I figure out what we have and how it fits into our schedule and who's going to get what. And then I also, like, for example, next week I'll do a walkthrough of somebody's house that they have a whole house of things from somebody who is moving to assisted living.
Okay.
And so I'll say, these are things we can use and can't use. And then when the guys come, it'll be very clear what we can use. So I do that coordinating of figuring out what's coming in and what's going out and who it's going to. So every Saturday morning, usually, I start with the team of the day, and we go to storage, and I make sure they have the right things and they know where they're going. And sometimes I'll take smaller things with my husband, or during the week we'll pick up things. And so we have 2 vans. One is just for hauling things, and one is for people.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have a trailer, an enclosed trailer, so we can do this all year round. And it lives at our house in between.
I know.
And so, no, but it's great because I also work full time and I do a lot of other volunteer things. And so I'm able, to do most of this online except for Saturdays.
Okay.
And occasional evenings. And
she keeps a wonderful spreadsheet with everything.
Yeah, and we're able to look at a glance and go, who's waiting, who's scheduled, who's good, and that's why I was able to go here and just real quick pull up like who do we hear from the most, and so it lets everybody be on the same page. So yeah, it's just we try to keep it as simple and straightforward as we can.
Yeah.
And to not grow to where it would be hard to support. I feel like we have about a little over 100 active referrals a year.
Okay.
So every weekend, we're usually helping at least 2 to 3 individuals or families. and, picking up from about the same number. So it balances out pretty nicely, but it's a real steady stream. When we get more than that, I get stressed out.
Yeah, understandable. Especially from what I'm understanding, it's all volunteer based. So yeah. And I know that you're a smaller organization, but I still like to ask if you hold any events or fundraisers throughout the year that you would want to let people know about.
Eventually we might.
Okay.
Right now, because we really keep our costs as low as we possibly can, we're very lucky that we have a few Rotary clubs and a few other things. And through our own church
I was gonna say
committee,
about that, yeah.
we were able to cover our cost for the most part. And
Okay.
because we really don't have a lot of overhead, our My Box is donated. In fact, I have a meeting on Monday it's right behind St. Joseph's, and we have to sign a new thing.
Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we're very lucky that we keep our costs low, and
Okay.
so we're always happy to have more funds just in
Sure.
case we need things we haven't had donated, but we don't have a lot of fund rate. We don't have a
The
big
need for
gala
that
every
kind
year, and we don't have that
sure,
type of
yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Just locally in our church, all of the bulletin and the Spire magazine and all those things, in each of those brochures and all, there's requests
Okay.
from
Yeah, we
Homestarter.
highlight.
Okay. Please, we could use furniture, we could use kitchen
Sure.
items, we could use bathroom items.
Well, or we've had drives, like community drives for some of the items that we use, and so we'll sometimes do that.
Okay.
Because we
Yeah,
do like to bring the community into what we do, but then we also try to mix up some of those opportunities in the community for some of the other things we support. So we try to balance it.
Sure. Understandable. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about the Homestarter program?
I would love to talk a little bit about why something like this is so necessary.
Sure.
So one thing you don't think about is when you're in a survival or poverty mode, you're really just thinking the next day. It's hard to plan. It's hard to do. If you've been without housing for many reasons, it could be you had a medical thing came up. You perhaps had struggles with addiction or with alcoholism.
Or
People
more
leaving a bad situation. There's so many reasons you may have had a period without a home where you're living in a car, you're living in a shelter. If you're very lucky, you had a car.
Right.
And you had whatever would fit in a car or maybe a small storage unit with some of your things. But we've had people in their 60s and 70s coming to us and they have nothing. They're starting entirely over. And so it takes so much to just get someplace. There's not enough affordable housing in the country and certainly not in New Hampshire. So you've taken all of your resources first and last month. And again, you're sitting with a lawn chair or blankets, maybe an air mattress. And let's say you're coming through a time of addiction and you're really trying to fight that. I can't think of anything more depressing than sitting in your empty room,
Yeah.
staring with nothing to do. And so we're really trying to make sure that even if they had the money to do it, they a lot of times don't have anything to get it there, or they might not have the resources or friends. Think about when you move, you've got to really like your friends if you ask them to move.
Right. Yes.
But you probably have people who would, right?
Yeah.
Most of you do. And some of them have that as well. They do have family, but a lot of them don't. Like they've come from a different state, a different circumstance, or they don't have vehicles that would accommodate either. And so it's really just helping them get to that next stage and feel like, or a woman who's trying to make a new apartment feel like a home to her kids. They've left a bad situation and they're afraid of bringing them someplace where it feels sterile and it feels horrible. And so it's just making it feel like home. So some of our favorite stories really are, I was a single mom until my older daughter was 11. And so they touch my heart. They're, for me, some of my stories that really resonate. But there are so many reasons. One of our stories we'd like to tell was a man he struggled with his mental health for a long time. He'd been on the streets for a long time, and he finally was finding an apartment. And we brought him, let him pick out some things, and he was so excited. Just the nicest man. And he comes into our storage, And he says, do you know what you have here? And we're like, well, a little of this, a little of that. Sorry, some of it's kind of scratched. He's like, no. Yeah, you have stuff. But what you have is hope.
Oh.
And he was so excited, and we got him some things, and he wanted to come help talk to people about the program and help others find out about it. And we got a note a couple months later from his sister, and she let us know that he'd passed away. Oh. And you're like, why are you telling me a bummer story, Terri? Because
Oh, no.
It's actually, for us, it was a real success story that she said, thank you for letting him die with dignity and with feeling like he was settled and he had hope for his next little bit.
Yeah.
And so instead of being out and without a home, he was able to feel like he was hopeful going into his future. And we're so grateful for that. And that's really, some people we've seen them more than once at this point. And they've moved again and couldn't bring these, whatever. But we don't worry about, the other thing we've heard is even when we don't have everything they need or whatever, we don't judge. We're very kind. All of our volunteers really are lovely, gracious people. And they said, it was just something to have you be nice to me. Because they hear no so much. They have so many things in their life that have really not gone as they wanted. And we don't worry about all that. They don't have to prove anything to us. If you have a need, we'll do our best to help you fill it. And we wish you well. We will send you on your way and hope the best for you. And so those have been, for me, my two stories are the first person we helped. My husband got left alone. Well, I had taken her someplace. I don't remember where. And they lost her son's binky, right? His pacifier. And I was like, there's no way I'm leaving her without a pacifier for her child.
Yeah.
We're driving to the store and to get a pacifier for him. And she points to a park bench and says, when they didn't have room at the shelter, that's where I would sleep with him. I would just use my coat like a blanket, and that's the bench we'd sleep on because that's kind of a nice, safe place. And then we'd go to that convenience store, and if we were lucky, we'd have a can of something to split that day. And I had to pull over. I'm crying. She's crying.
My goodness. Wow.
It was that was her reality. And now she got to have this next chapter where, he had a proper bed and he had, it's just so meaningful that maybe it will last, maybe it won't, but we've tried to help them with their next chapter. And my other favorite was a mom who had left a domestic violence situation and had older sons. And they'd found a little house to rent, and it was Christmas time. And so we got them the things they needed, but then we also helped her find some presents for her sons. But I brought something for her. And her boys were so excited for her to see somebody be nice to their mom, because that's not something they'd seen a lot of. And so, I don't know, it was like a Bath and Body Works basket. I don't know what it was. But they were so like, what'd you get, Mom? What is it? And they were just such gracious, lovely boys being happy for her. And that really stuck with me because the same thing, just the kindness and just the hope for the future and just that next little, it's for our volunteers, it really is an instant gratification for us. It's almost selfish, right? That we get to just feel like,
volunteers say that all the time.
Good.
They come back and they're like, just seeing, those lives and what they've been through makes me so grateful for what I've had.
Yeah.
And the things that we'll get sometimes really beautiful things that people have their own homes already set up, and then their families need to go downsize or they move, and their families don't want their things. They already have their own things.
Right.
And so sometimes we get these beautiful, beautiful things, and it may be the nicest piece of furniture they've ever owned that we bring. Or it may be a little outdated, but it's sturdy and it's nice and it's not particle board. So that's great. We have a little bit of everything, but it's really wonderful. I brought a bed to a little boy who his grandmother was taking 3 of her grandsons and going to be taking care of them because the mother was struggling with addiction. And they'd been in a shelter for a while. So we were setting up his room and he's like, wait, this is my bed just for me. You'd never seen a kid so excited for a bed.
Yeah.
Or we had another, they'd gone through medical things and they'd lost their home. And so it was Christmas time. We have a lot of memorable stories at Christmas. I don't know. And we brought a couch. And again, you'd never seen, she was like, and it's my favorite color, Mom. It's green. This kid's so excited for a couch.
Yeah.
And it's humbling. It's really humbling that things we take for granted. And I think that's the biggest thing is I really want to say is that there are so many things we take for granted and there's so many things we can't do, right? But this is something achievable and something that you've taken one thing off their list. You've helped them make their housing a home. You've made it feel like a home. You've made it feel like, okay, now I can settle in and try to kind of have things together here. And that is such a beautiful, wonderful thing. And it's the story with the guy throwing the starfish back into the ocean. Like the beach is full of them, and it's like, well, you can't save them all. And it's like, but for that one, I made a difference.
Right.
And that's what we feel like. We cannot solve the affordable housing crisis. We cannot do a lot. But for these people, we have made a tangible, lasting difference to them and made them feel like, okay, I can now do this next thing in my life that I need to do. I can now take care of my family better. I now can feel like things are going in a better way. And that's such a huge gratifying thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing those stories because I think it is a good reminder for people because, we all go about our day to day and where we're not, unless you're doing one of these volunteer opportunities, you're not seeing this every day. So it doesn't always cross our mind of the fact that not everyone is so fortunate and they, just again, to not take things for granted as far as like how excited they get about a bed and like we could take the fact of having a bed for granted, those kind of things. So, and also you answered my next question already. So that's great because I was going to ask about someone whose life has been transformed by your work, and you already gave great examples of that. So thank you. And I don't know if you have any stories you want to share. If not, it's perfectly fine.
You get to talk to people too, Sheryl.
I do. I talk to the clients every week, which I really appreciate that opportunity. It's amazing.
Oh,
good. Well, I don't know how much we're allowed to say, but,
You're not sharing names. It's okay.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So we just helped a woman with a traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
And she had nothing also. Yeah. And so when we brought all the things to her, she called me back and was so appreciative. She just wanted me to tell the volunteers how much she appreciated everything.
Yeah.
And it was so clear that, this meant so much to her, after having been through the trauma that she had been through.
Yeah.
Well, and she was regaining her independence.
Right.
And so that's the other thing is being able to take care of yourself again and being able to take care of your family. And I think that's such a huge thing. And it's such a weight when you feel like you can't do that.
Right.
And so,
That's right.
Yeah. No, I know. We definitely, we all have some favorites. We love everybody we help, but there's always a few that really, especially single men are always really grateful and sweet.
Who is this?
Single men.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so funny, yeah.
we'll have guys, and they're usually delightful because they're because
they get a recliner chair, and it's like, wow, this is wonderful.
It's like Christmas,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great.
And she looks for those things, those special things to give people.
Oh, sure, yeah.
We try,
Yeah.
when we can. Sometimes we get special requests, and we do our best.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's kind of a weird, like, the universe works out. Even though I come from a church thing, I'm not overly religious, I'll be quite honest.
Sure. No, I understand.
Raised very religious, and it's kind of gone the other way.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that every so often I'll need something, I'll get a very specific request, and like that same week I'll get an offer of that very specific thing that I've never had an offer for before. Mm-hmm. Or we had somebody like this week asked for bean bags, and we're like, yeah, we don't do bean bags. And then literally our housewares person, Donna, went someplace, and as she left, she said, hey, by the way, would you like these bean bags?
Wow.
And they were perfect, and they just happened to be nothing we were actively looking for, but we had just gotten the request for them. We were like, well, sure, if they're right here. And so we get things like that a lot where it's
Yeah.
just sort of it works out nicely. And it makes you
Yeah.
have a little faith that all the good comes around and karma is true and the universe is providing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, then just two last questions. The first being if you would recommend another nonprofit or just an individual that does wonderful things in their community to have on the show as another guest.
I would say if you've never talked to them, Front Door Agency actually is a fantastic organization in Nashua. And Greater Nashua Mental Health, with all of the mental health things going on, they're amazing. We get a lot of referrals through them. And Bless This Home, you probably already know. They have a similar mission.
I haven't spoken to them, so either of them. So
Oh, okay. No. So Bless This Home, they are based out of Bedford. They're larger than we are.
Okay.
And they primarily serve. They do all of Southern, but then they also do Manchester and kind of out. They have a broader range. And they will take people who've already been through a program, mostly women, and who've been successfully through some type of program. And when they come out the other end of it, they will help them set up their new apartment. But they do more finish work. Like we don't put pictures on the walls and drapes on where they will. They like make it look for real like home. And they want them to have that feeling.
Sure.
It was started by an interior designer, actually.
Oh, wow.
And so that was her expertise. But they are like when we don't have the capacity to help somebody, they're out of our range or when it's not the right fit, we'll send people their way and vice versa. Like since they don't do single men, they'll send them to us. And so we have a very collaborative relationship with them, and they're an amazing organization.
Oh, great. And then the final question, we've kind of touched on a little bit, but basically, what does kindness mean to you? And can you share an example of maybe some kindness that you've experienced or witnessed, but you've already shared some great examples? And it doesn't necessarily have to be with this organ, just in general, kindness that you've experienced kind of things.
So it doesn't have to be related.
No. Just any example, yeah.
Goodness in the world.
What did you say?
Just goodness in the world.
Yeah, there is. There's so much of it, too. It's just people reaching out to help other people. Mm-hmm. I mean, just in my neighborhood alone, there are so many people who are available to help. My husband has dementia.
Oh, okay.
And so just knowing, and they're always available and always telling me, we care.
Oh, nice.
Just the fact that I know that.
Yeah. Having that support for sure. Yeah.
I'm just so impressed is not really the word, but with the volunteers and what they're willing to do, what they want to do, what they're willing to do. It's hard work. It's really hard work. There's a lot of heavy furniture, and
no sleeper sofas, though.
What's that?
No sleeper sofas. We do forbid those.
Those are very heavy.
Yeah, that's right. No sleeper. But yeah. So and it doesn't matter what. Like I try to be a little careful about what we ask them to do each week. But
she keeps me honest when I get too ambitious.
But whatever it is, they just we're on it.
That's incredible.
So
yeah.
That's kindness.
Yeah.
I think for me, so I do a lot of different things. I also I started today visiting I'm a CASA GAL. And if you have not talked to CASA before, you should.
That's another one I've tried to get in touch with and have not had success. So
okay, I can hook you up.
Okay.
I can hook you up. And I think that it's really learning to a fault. I will say sometimes I will try to see the good in someone and the things that we have in common, because there's plenty we don't have in common. We're in a very divided country, and people feel very strongly, as they should, about lots of things. But at the core of it, we all love our families and we want to see them thrive, and we want to do mostly good things. And now how we get there can be a lot of disagreement for how to get there. But if you try to look for, like right now, I've served on my school board, and it's been a really interesting time to be on a school board the past.
It is, yes.
And so I'm on year 9 and I'm running for another term.
Oh, wow. Good for you. That's awesome.
Haven't helped me. But one of the things I've tried very hard is to really keep my politics to myself and kind of be so that people can feel that they can share with me and they can. And when we go and we meet with these people and we know that we're in different places in our lives, right? Like they're at a place that they're maybe at a very low place, but they love their families and they're trying to do better. And so it's really trying to find the commonality that you have and being able to just see each other as a fellow human who's trying their best. And I think that that's what all kindness stems from. And if you can just keep that in mind, is instead of letting it drive you crazy, the things we don't agree on, where can we find that common ground?
Right.
And it's not that hard if you get into the habit of it, right? You just have to. And you have to sometimes really be like, la, la, la. The other stuff that drives me crazy. Can't think about that. Instead, I'm going to focus on this thing. I know that I do agree with her, that I can see why you feel so strongly, even if we disagree with it. And so that's really how I try to personally live. And I think that it makes, the parents that I work with as a CASA, you can read some of these cases and it breaks your heart, but then you see them go, but they're trying and they've come from these cycles where they had not great examples either or things they've struggled with. And if they're trying, then I can be their biggest cheerleader. Like, I love that I get to do that and say, we're here. You didn't get the support you needed early until things went awry, but now you have it. So how do we move forward? Mm-hmm. And instead of repercussions for here, it's like, how do we move forward? And I think that's another thing. Don't look for blame. Don't look for what we don't agree on. Let's look for where we can find that commonality and how we can move forward in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's how I try to approach things.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people to hear, and hopefully people will take that with them, because we do feel like such a divided country and feels like there's so much animosity. But in doing this, I know that deep down most people are just good. Yeah. It's just, again, finding that common ground, and sometimes even getting to that point can be a challenge, right? Having that conversation to find the common ground versus a lot of people, oh, they're on that side and we're on this side, so I can't even talk to them kind of thing, So yeah, definitely remembering that and trying to find that common ground, I think, could be very helpful for our society.
So many things.
Yes. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and it was wonderful learning about your organization. And hopefully this will get you some more volunteers or just raise awareness that you're out there doing this great work.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do, trying to bring a note of positivity into the world however you can. I was so excited to hear that that's your mission here, is to just highlight and shine a light on these things. And so thank you for that, because I think that there are so many great things going on, and it is good to hear about them. And it is good to say, see, people are out there doing good stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know it helps me, because I can sometimes get caught up in the negative, that's all, because it's all you hear. Right. So that's what kind of motivated me to do this, is like, we need to hear more of the good stories and of all these things that people are doing that don't get talked about and you don't hear about, but are happening every day. So yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much to Terri and Sheryl for being on the episode today. I really enjoyed speaking with them, and I hope you enjoyed learning about this local organization who is made up of hardworking volunteers who are really making an impact on people's lives and making their lives not only better, but as Terri shared, letting them have some dignity back. So I hope that you'll check them out. If you're local, please consider volunteering. And remember, as always, to follow Dose of Good Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you could subscribe and leave a rating and review, that really helps me out, helps the podcast to get shared more so more people can find it and have a dose of good in their day. I thank you so much for listening and supporting the podcast. It really means a great deal to me. It definitely brightens my day doing it, so I hope that it brightens your day listening or watching. And until next time, go spread some good, some kindness, help others, give a compliment, share a kind word, and help make the world a better place.